It's a fabulous day in Perth, not too hot, around 27 degrees, quite a strong breeze and an unusual breeze, not the Doctor as we know it here, but a sellout crowd at this great cricket ground, particularly for one-day cricket. It comes alive somehow. The spectators feel very close to the players. It's the Australians who are batting first. Cameron White won the toss. Pitch looks good. And two teams affected by both injury and the need to rest one or two players have taken the field and are ready for the off. Also for the off in the commentary box are Tony Greig, Ian Healy, and first up, James Brayshaw.
Thanks very much for that, Mark, and welcome to everyone. Beautiful day, as you say, here in Perth, and an interesting day. We've got two wicket keepers at the top of the Australian order, Payne and Haddon, and they both are highly entertaining batsmen. Brad Haddon's played some very nice innings in this one-day competition so far. Good form, hit the ball very nicely and been prepared to take the bowlers and the fielding side on early, over the top, through the gaps. So we know all about him. Tim Payne has had to sit around and watch a lot of cricket. So he gets his chance, and it'll be against a high-quality unit in James Anderson.
Well, maybe that sort of swing and that control by James Anderson can focus and galvanise the technique of Brad Haddon. We saw it in the last couple of matches. He's been really keen to hit down the ground, not back away. And he was doing it extremely well early, and then he lost it and couldn't rein it back in, and he ended up getting bowled, playing a silly shot in Brisbane. And so he's desperately trying to turn those starts, substantial starts, into triple figures.
Edge dropped, put down. Yardy was the fieldsman, went across in front of his skipper Strauss, and that one's hit the turf.
That could be the first catch they've dropped in the slips this summer. I haven't seen Andrew Strauss, can't remember anyway, but gee, it's a nice healthy edge in a one-dayer. Beautiful.
Yeah, pretty orthodox stuff. That's why there are two slips there, although it was right between the two of them. I suppose you could say that Collingwood would have caught it, but he's not here.
Haddon gives himself some room. Over the top he goes, and that's 4.
Superb shot. That's the one he favours these days. Likes to give himself a little bit of room, hit it over the top of the offside. And we know over the years in one-day international cricket, going way back to 96, when Ian Healy and co were cleaned up by the Sri Lankans, that in the first 10 overs, this is the way to go.
Payne, has he got a little edge on that? Paul Rifle doesn't want any of it.
The Oddie doesn't like it. Well, they getting together now. Do they have to nominate what they're appealing for? So now the question is LBW first, and if you got an inside nick, does it then get given out? And I suspect it probably does.
Well, that's certainly what the English players think, that there was a healthy inside edge onto this. There is the captain speaking to Paul Rifle, the umpire. They're probably discussing exactly that, Greggy. What are you actually appealing for? That's a legal delivery.
No, I thought it was Strauss came to Rifle and said, can we have both covered? Now, Payne got his foot outside the line of off. Might have hit him outside off. He's fairly well down the pitch, but that won't matter to Eagle Eye. They'll just take the line. Didn't hit him outside the line.
Was it over the top? That's the question. It does bounce a lot. Yeah, no. Look, so this is LBW. Forget about the inside edge. I couldn't pick any inside edge there.
But hang on, if he inside edged it, it's not LBW.
But then it's out court.
Well, did he inside edge it?
Well, I'm saying he didn't.
So either way, he's in a pile of strife.
That's right.
Well, the issue here is I think that Strauss went over to the captain and said to him something about, look, the catch. That looks out to me. I think, yeah, everything says it's hitting. Original decision. What do you mean not out?
Well, maybe there was an inside edge there.
Hang on, there it is. More than 250 centimetres.
What's that mean? Down the pitch? Okay, so he got himself down the pitch. Now that even fools Eagle Vision. So that's why it's a difficult decision to give. Then it might go back onto the inside edge and back to the umpire's decision, which was not out for LBW or court.
Right, well, just for those of you who are wondering now, how come if the ball was going to hit the stumps, why it is that this may well go back to the original decision, which was not out? It's because the ball hit him a long way down the pitch, and there's always a little bit of doubt when that happens, and so the doubt therefore goes back to the batsman, or if you like, to the decision originally made by the umpire. However, it seems to me that they're spending a bit of time thinking about this. They haven't yet looked to see if there was, or closely looked to see if there was an inside edge at all.
And that height on the eagle-eye vision, this is the WACA. You almost have to land the ball on the return crease to get it hitting that low. There we are. It's out. Unbelievable. So after all of that, Paul Rifle has changed the decision and Tim Payne's on his way.
So the umpire can go with that technology by the sound of it. But how am I out, Tim Payne says. England were appealing for more a catch than they were LBW. We've got it as LBW at the moment. Payne gone for 5.
That's nicely away. Fergie's off with a boundary. Beautifully clipped off his pads.
Yeah, magnificent shot. Beautifully played. Need a few more of those.
Ferguson on strike.
Slap. Gave himself the room.
Well, it's a stroke dependent on a good eye, and that perhaps is the greatest feature of Haddon's batting, that and the ease with which he can hit the ball down the ground. When he goes square of the wicket, he's making a much more obvious effort to hit it hard.
Right on top of that, over pitching there, Steve Finn. Beautifully timed. It's going to run away for Callum Ferguson. Great balance. Takes full toll of the over pitch delivery.
Although those are his two areas, square cover and mid-wicket and square leg. And he knows what a chance he has here. There's no guarantee that either Michael Hussey or Sean Marshall will be fit to go to India for the World Cup. He's had a very good season.
Edge and taken comfortably, and that's what we've seen right through the summer. Good catching. There's one gone down for England early today, but no mistake there.
Beautifully bowled, James Anderson, short. There's that Ferguson staying leg side, not getting across, but very, very well bowled. A little bit fuller to Haddon, but then pushing Callum Ferguson back. The safe hands of the England cordon. Callum Ferguson goes. Maybe an opportunity lost for 15.
In the air, down the ground, and sixer. And it was the first delivery in the bowling power play. Dispatched.
Well, that'll relax Brad Haddon. Takes him 17 off 26. He just looked like, prior to Callum Ferguson's dismissal, that he wanted to go. Just gave himself that bit of room. Beautiful swing of the bat, right out of the middle.
This one's cut away in the air past what would have been third slip, and it's gone to the boundary for 4. And there was a little bit of bat on that one, and it certainly went up. I think he might have hit his pad. Now then, is Strauss going to have another look at this one? And I think they might review it. It was given not out. And yes, there we go. So the question here is, there were 2 noises. I'm not too sure that he did hit it. I think he might have hit his pad. We'll soon find out.
Well, there was almost nothing from the bowler and nothing from the fielders in front of the batsman. A massive appeal from the keeper and first slip, who's also the skipper. So we need to look at a replay here. 2 noises don't necessarily mean, as Tony Greig said, that the ball's been hit by the bat. We've got a legal delivery, so we've got no problems there. See, even Yardy, who's there, is really only just politely inquiring. Now, what have we got here?
Quite often that toe of the bat can hit the pad, and that's the noise, but that one looks like it's inside edge. Onto pad, yeah. Otherwise, it was close.
Wonderful technology. Look at this. You can see the little inside edge on the bat there, and then it hits the pad. So the umpire has got this one right. Maria Erasmus has given it not out. The ball has clearly hit the bat, and so that decision will stand.
What about the little white spot on the stump? So it's picking up the heat of the camera that's in the stump too. But if Cameron White didn't inside edge that, he was gone. He was gone, and that hit his pads. It would have been going straight on to middle and leg, but the big inside edge made it look as if it was going down anyway.
Yeah, and a clear edge, so that's explaining why the fieldsman and the bowler had nothing to do with the appeal.
Yes, I don't understand why we've got to go any further on this. We've seen the inside edge. The appeal was for LBW. It's not as if there was someone there to catch the ball. So there's a hot spot. The ball clearly coming off the inside edge of the bat. Perhaps he's thinking that that mark may have been made by the pad. But I thought we saw the deflection there off the bat.
Greggy, we're getting a bit of paralysis by analysis in these reviews. Here we go. It's not out, and that's going to stand.
Oh, Brad Haddin, you can't be serious. Oh, I think it's out. I think it's brilliant from Steve Finn. I'm sure it's brilliant from Steve Finn. He's not the first to do it, but it takes a great presence of mind. If you think you're going to go over that rope, you're falling backwards. The umpires are just going to check this. Haddin was happy. Haddin was walking off, happy with what Finn did. Now, as he overbalances, he knows he's going to overstep the rope, so he throws the ball back in just. He does, and now look, he's got to step back in and catch it again inside play, and he does it. Excellent from Steve Finn.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yes, not the first to do it, but you don't see many 6'7" fast bowlers pulling off fielding like that. That was a frame of mind that he was in. Brad Haddin was frustrated. 27, Australia 3 for 72.
That's a good stroke. David Hussey quickly into position. He will have seen a lot of Luke Wright when they play county cricket against each other in England. And he will reckon that Luke Wright is not quick enough to bounce him around his ears.
He's spoken about opportunities for Callum Ferguson and Adam Voges today out of the World Cup squad. David Hussey is in the squad, but a great opportunity for him to stamp a little bit of authority on his spot in the team so that he's starting those games over in the subcontinent. Plenty of time to bat here. I know that he's always lately been wanting to just play a few more shots a bit earlier in his innings.
Clever slower ball. So in theory, Wright will be looking for a return catch.
Well, maybe it was nearly one shot too many too early. Clever bowling, just took the pace off it. Just that momentum cost right there. He was always moving away from the ball, couldn't check his movement to get the hands firmly around it. But genuine chance, he'll be disappointed. Rock onto the back foot there, and he's hit it very well. It chases on. Great fielding. Liam Plunkett, I think it is, out there. Brilliant from the big men of the England bowling lineup here in the outfield.
He said,
So nearly. So nearly. Twice in 2 overs, Luke Wright has had opportunities to take catches off his own bowling.
well, it's always difficult. Coming back, I think White probably got hold of this just a little bit better than Wright thought initially. It's out of the middle, and it just gets into an awkward position for him as he's again in the follow throw, walking or moving away from the pitch. He's got to hope it sticks. Often for those to be caught, they have to just hit and stick. Whoa, get onto it. He really does get onto it. Footwork made it. The rest of it was sheer power from David Hussey.
Well, the third time that Yardie has invited him to play a horizontal bat stroke, and this time he got the maximum. Everything into it. He went a little bit straighter this time.
Yes. Direct hit does it, misses. Steve Davis did all he could to make it to the stumps. Ian Bell had time to take aim and fire because, to all intents and purposes, the batsman had given up.
Really late call from Cameron White. Hussey hits it. His call, he goes straight away. Not sure if you heard it through the effects mic, but quite a wide throw. Cameron White said no to David Hussey very late. Left him stranded. Davies just couldn't gather.
Out! Good cricket. Yardy wins his second battle. First Brad Haddin and now Cameron White.
He does a job for England, doesn't he, Yardy? He's a working-class cricketer. He gets it in there. He doesn't give it a lot of air. And Cameron White just can't get himself going with the bat. In the end, a simple caught and bowled. Trying to hit it more to the offside to get it out of the reach of the bowler, but it dragged back at him. But Cameron White will be disappointed. 24. It's another Australian start. 4 for 103.
They're in an immensely strong position. Liam Plunkett back into the attack. That's nicely played. That comes off the face of the bat.
Smart batting, great placement, using the pace of the ball. And he's looked by far the best batsman. He's organised. You can see he's got a real purpose.
And now a wonderful back cut. Two terrific strokes from David Hussey.
I mentioned before about Cameron White. Could have been the beneficiary of David Hussey's innings. It's just been great intent right from the outset. David Hussey thought White might have been probably disappointed now that he wasn't that little bit sharper in his execution. He could still be there. Hussey's previous ball had the soft hands right through it. Prior delivery, and that one again, another wide one from Plunkett. Hussey, great intent.
Burgess has been pretty crisp as well in defence, and that one before that shot working at the mid-wicket, and that one winning the race to the road. 28 overs, 4 for 121. That's hit beautifully. They won't track that down. Beat the man inside the ring and beat both men on the road. Burgess for 16.
Yes, I reckon that these two will be thinking, righto, here we got Jonathan Trott, he bowls at that 115 kilometres an hour on this lovely fast pitch. If we can't get to him, then we'll never get to anybody.
It was full and he's clipped. Did it hit the boot or did it hit the bat? It's leg byes, but Australia will take it.
It doesn't really matter from the total's point of view. 4. It was full. It was an attempted Yorker, I'd say, right up there, and it just flicked the very base of the around the ankle area.
Good over for Australia, that's for sure. 1, 4, 1, 4, 1. So there's a 4 very due. Jonathan Trott needs to be not as full as this. To clip the bat, definitely clip the left ankle. And went.
The players know.
Oh, is that an inside edge or a French cut? Doesn't matter, because it's frustration for Wright.
Well, we say it so often, impossible to police this shot at any stage of a one-day game. It's almost the one part of a cricket ground you cannot defend.
He's got some nagging little in-drift, whether it's reverse swing or not, this over, Luke Wright. They've struggled to get it away. Australia, if this partnership continues, will post a decent score. Change in the commentary box as Michael Yardy bowls his first ball to David Hussey. Again, crisp timing through the covers. Can it be tracked down this time? It can't. That is beautiful timing from a forward defensive push into the gap. Let's leave it to Adam Gilchrist, Michael Slater and Mark Nicholas to take it on.
What a sparkling partnership too. 60 they've now put on in 47 balls, reviving the Australian innings, which had been pedestrian up to this point. This is right up Hussey's street.
That's right, Michael Bevan, coach of the Kings 11 Punjab, as my new teammate David Hussey brings up his 50. Great innings off 44 balls. Most appreciated by his old home crowd here at the WACA. Australia 4 for 166.
How about that for timing? Crowe just came down on that so late with such fast hands.
Yeah, rolling the wrists, perfect example. But it was the lateness of stroke too, and it allowed him to generate such power. He waits, and then the last moment he comes in over the top of it, raced away.
Lovely position to play the stroke.
Yeah, good catch. Ian Bell alert to the opportunity, made good ground. And Liam Plunkett's first ball back into the attack results in a wicket.
Bit of bounce here from Plunkett, digging it in. Hussey looking to turn to the onside. Proceeded to get through the shot slightly early, but success for Plunkett after joining the touring party very, very late in the piece. But it was a great innings from David Hussey. Really worked it beautifully. 60 from 60. Australia 5 for 198.
There we go, 50 for Adam Burgess, and a terrific moment for him too. Back into the side after a big absence in the national colours. On his home ground in front of his home crowd, he's peeled off a 50 from 45 balls, and that's fantastic.
In the air, and it's gone down. It was a terrific effort. Would have been an absolute classic.
The disappointing thing for Anderson will be knowing that he was in such great shape to take it. Just got big on his hand, just high and a little bit quicker than he would have liked for where his hand was. Maybe got done for lack of pace.
Oh, terrific. He's just slapped that behind point and says thank you very much.
Well, it's about the only area on the leg side that's available.
Here he comes. He loves that area. Dispatched.
All day long, he was heading down there. As I said, short boundary. He didn't quite catch it, but his placement was perfect. And I reckon if he gets a look, he'll go there again.
Straight towards Gilchrist's stand over there. That's the favourite area of their favourite son. Straight in the air, could bring rain. The sun's there. He's doing circles and misses it. Steve Finn had to do a lot of work to try and get the sun out of his vision. It was there, he put the hand up, and he would have lost the ball for a big part of that.
Well, that took some catching. Was always going to. Then it goes into the sun. We know how windy it is out there. We saw how talented he was earlier when he took a ball, took a catch, stepped over the rope, threw the ball up and finished the job off. So not even his talent could even get a hand on that. Mitchell Johnson back on strike because they ran two.
The big man had a good reach. It was a big effort at the end. But, Steve Finn just couldn't correct himself. He'd lost it for too long and then got out of position. They're difficult catches when they're coming in over your shoulder a little bit.
He had to call the other Steve in for mine. Davies, with the bloke with the gloves in his hands. Yours.
And then you start running the other way.
Get out of there.
Well, that's as hard as it gets. He's lucky the innings is nearly over.
Oh, that sounded good. That sounded real good. Oh, brilliant in the deep. It's the keeper out of deep mid-wicket. Pulls off a specky.
Tantalisingly inside the rope, Matt Pryor, 10 metres or so. Mitchell Johnson tests him out. Thinks he can sneak it over his head. Even a miss hit might get over his head. But how good was he at backpedaling? He backpedaled, kept his eye on it, gathered, leapt, hung on to it, stayed inside the rope. You guilty.
Or Johnny Dyson. 26 for Mitchell Johnson. And the Aussies are 6 for 243.
Oh, yes. That's good from Hastings. And again, Finn, very wayward, down the leg side.
Hey, he was really impressive the other night, Finn. Not as impressive today, although 8.4 overs for 43 is he's not exactly going around the park.
Should be out. And he's out. Well, John Hastings was backing off that, trying to put it over the ring on the offside, unable to do so.
Yeah, the idea was good from Johnny Hastings, but the execution from Jimmy Anderson was better. Saw him giving himself some room, jammed him, and that really had to get a top edge to be successful, because any decent bat on it was just going to pop it straight up in the air. Wright has managed to hold on to a pretty simple catch in the end. And this man's really good summer continues. 3 for 44, Jimmy Anderson. Hastings on his way. 7 for 263, Australia.
There's a mix-up. Is he home? Yes, he is. Good effort. Good extension. Paul Rifle just wants to have a little glance at this one, or the third umpire, that is. I think you'll find that Vo just timed that dive perfectly.
He looked in all sorts halfway down. Again, the bounce throw. Let's have a look. Here he comes. Home.
How quick is he? Nearly got hold of it. And 2 will finish the innings for Australia. It's a good effort. They turn things around. And the requirement for England is they'll need 280 to win the final game in the Commonwealth Bank Series. And Adam Voges has turned out to be the star. He didn't think he'd be playing a game. All of a sudden he gets the nod. 80 not out, which is also his highest one-day international score. So Australia, 7 for 279.
So those two boys in the middle, Hussey and Voges, did a great job of turning this innings around. And now England are going to have to make 280, and that will take some getting. Welcome back to the WACA ground. It is going to be England to try and track down a massive total set by Australia. 280 they're going to make. And we have got fielders starting to walk onto the ground. We've got batsmen soon to follow them. And we've got a couple of very well-credentialed men joining me in the commentary box to just get this run chase started. Adam Gilchrist is here, as is Mark Nichols.
Thanks, JB. It was a terrific performance by the Australians. At one stage, that they didn't look as if they could get out of the blocks. They were kind of stuck with uncertainty against England's attack, definitely missing Shane Watson's impetus at the start of the innings. And then a really classy partnership between David Hussey and Adam Voges that involved a lot of good, smart running between the wickets and also boundary hitting. Got them going, and consequently a total of 279 means a formidable run chase for an England side who have been, well, very inconsistent with the bat throughout the series, I think is the best way to put it. At times England have played very well, and at other times really very badly. England have problems too. Paul Collingwood, who had already flown home, was joined back in England by Owen Morgan. Owen Morgan has a broken finger, and Strauss, chatting with me at the toss, was really concerned about Morgan. He's become a crucial figure in England's one-day side, though he hasn't played at his best out here in Australia. Anyway, England have what they have, which is Stephen Davies, the reserve wicket-keeper, out there with Strauss. Matt Pryor is playing in this match, but not keeping wicket, and will bat at number 6. So it goes Strauss, Davies, Trott, Peterson at 4, Bell at 5, Pryor at 6. They're the frontline batsmen. The run chase. No Brett Lee for the Australians. He's rested, as was Watson and Michael Clarke. There's some bounce and carry, as there so often is at the WACA in the pitch. And we're in for an entertaining afternoon.
That we are. Whenever that man there, Sean Tate, with the new ball in his hand, it's always entertaining. Andrew Strauss knows that. Getting himself set. Not sure what the theory is here, but Sean Tate is bowling from the Prindiville stand end. Looks like it's slightly into the breeze. It's an easterly breeze coming across the ground, but if anything, if there is some angle of breeze up and down the wicket, Sean Tate's slightly running into it. But we're all set to go. 280's the target. 8 to Strauss.
Expect some fire. That's a good delivery. That is 147 kilometres per hour as a loosener.
Yeah, straight out of the gun. The other thing about this breeze, Gilly, is with the easterly, you know, you can see that shape there is going to come back into the left-handers or away from the right-handers. There it is coming over the famous old scoreboard. So I agree. Sean Tate should be bowling from the other end where the breeze is going to help that natural into the left-hander and away from the right-hander. And I presume Bollinger's going to open the bowling from this end, and he obviously has the reverse applied.
That's a start for you. Strauss had to move the muscle. Too quick.
Well, having spoken all that theory, it doesn't matter one bit because he can bring it back into the breeze and crash into the stumps of England's best batsman. Terrific piece of bowling.
Well, you're a batsman and I'm a wicketkeeper. Brace, look at that. I was about to say the first ball was perfect, but that was. The second delivery just straightened slightly from the previous delivery, but it came back and cramped Strauss up. All at the pace of 147 kilometres an hour. Strauss gone for naught. England 1 for none.
That will be out. Brad Haddad is underneath it and takes it very comfortably. Stephen Davies getting himself into a terrible mess, as is the England scorecard.
We spoke about him wanting to be on the back foot. He was searching for anything that was full. He wasn't reaching, but camped back deep in the crease. Again, just too full to be playing that shot. Brad Haddad wisely signalling everyone else out of it. He had the gloves on. He needed to take it. Doug Bollinger breaks through in his first over. England in all sorts. Davies goes the second duck of the innings. 2 for 5.
Oh, well bowled. Well bowled. That hit him on the arm. Peterson must have been closing the face a little bit there, but got himself into a real tangle.
He's kicked his head straight around to have a look at the replay. It was held across the seam, so it looks like it's just bitten off the seam of the ball and fired up into his elbow, sort of forearm region.
He's got it into the gap again. That at least doesn't sound too good. He keeps looking at it as if it's got a crack in it. Yeah, well, Peterson's playing a few shots, and it may have something to do with this, because this was nasty. He smacked him on the back, on the arm. A little bit of extra bounce there. You can see the bruise on his arm there. That's that was from that delivery. That's well played. Very well played. Into the gap, and I think it'll probably just make it. Yes, it does. Well, that's the third boundary.
And it's Jonathan Trott's first. It was a terrific shot too. Top of the bounce, on the rise, however you want to describe it. He got his hands through the hitting area really well. And into the gap, as has been a feature of his batting right throughout the summer, his ability to hit the ball where the fielders aren't.
Oh, and he's going to be sent back, and he would have been out. That must have been very close. Payne, the fieldsman there, and there was never a run. He hit it straight to the fieldsman and called. It was slightly to his left. Oh, that's well played. Beautifully pulled away down towards square leg. No one down there. 4 more. Right. Well, Peterson has decided anything short is going to have to go. That was into the wind. And nicely played, Michael Slater.
Certainly was. He can put on a show, and it's exciting for everyone here at the WACA and everyone watching at home. Peterson, a little bit of a cameo here. Or England will be hoping it's more than just a little cameo, that he can bat for the remainder of the innings and get his country home. But it is excitement plus when Peterson looks in this sort of form.
Oh, and he's had a real go at it. Perhaps Bollinger that decided he was going to really let rip. And what he should have been thinking about was making sure he hit the stumps. And Peterson was all over the front of the stumps as well.
Well, Dougie's steaming in. Then he picks that up and just wants to hoy the stumps out of the ground.
In the air, yes! Beautifully taken. That's well bowled by Mitchell Johnson. Bowling a really good line across the right-handers. And that too may have been one of his little cutters. He was put on notice by his partner. Good cricket by the Australians.
Hussey at first slip. Moved in behind it nicely. It's always tempting. Ian Healy would know for a keeper when these ones outside edge. Did he think about going? He thought about it, and it was just to the left of David Hussey. He hangs on to it. So Mitchell Johnson gets that breakthrough wicket. All the quicks have got one apiece. 3 for 48.
Well, that's well played. Very good cut shot. Well, that's gone rushing away to the boundary.
Well, just as you give a guy a rap about accuracy, it's short wide from Dougie. And nicely played.
And he's out. Yep, he's got him as well. Bowling that line across the right-hander. It was only a question of time before Peterson hit one straight to a fielder. And that time it happened to be Fraser.
And Ian Healy spot on. There it is, the luring in of a batsman. You've got Mitchell Johnson's got his pace back, and it doesn't have to be the best delivery for him to get wickets. When he's on song, he'll squeeze wickets like this. It's full, it's wide, and sliced to backward point. The Australians are on a roll here at the WACA. They're finishing strong. It's 4 for 56. Top, and it's going to go straight to that man Tate. It was there to hit, but Johnson has that knack. You think, yeah, I'll put this away, and then bang, you've hit it straight to a fieldsman. So he gets another wicket at the WACA.
Maybe a bit of extra bounce from Mitchell Johnson. Right, Mick, it was certainly on. Maybe a little bit tight, but Sean Tate just featured in the classic catches. Not so difficult, that one. Secure hands, and the Aussies break through again. England really are starting to fall behind now in this run chase, losing regular wickets, and that's Ian Bell gone for 8. 5 for 64.
Well, that's beautifully timed. Only 3 men patrolling the covers from backward point to mid-off, and Pryor loves it.
Trying to overhit this at all, Matt Pryor. He just used the pace. Sean Tate over pitching. Not a big foot movement, but just got the hands through the line of the ball. As this new ball becomes an older ball, not quite the bounce there, so that allowing the batsman to take full toll.
I believe Horry's back bowling, and he certainly wants to be World Cup bound. They like that, the Aussies. I wasn't convinced about Brad Haddin's appeal, and neither was the umpire. But everyone in front, Cameron White says, yep, I'm going to appeal that. I'm definitely hit it.
A little noise, I think. There's been some doubt whether it carried, but I'm sure it got through to Haddin. He was confident about the take, but I don't think he looked so sure about the noise. But there was definitely a little flick of something when it went past.
Yeah, the problem is quite often technology doesn't pick up the really faint nicks. So I always think that there's a bit of a risk associated with using up one of your referrals for a really faint one. Let's see if anything shows up on the bat. And so he had the face closed. There's nothing that you can pick up there. Certainly nothing I can see.
Hiding that edge, isn't he, from the camera?
Yeah, how good's that? Or he's flashed it around in the wind, and it's cooled down, and and there's no
ice on the edge.
Highlighted hotspot for Vodafone this time.
So Gilly, you close to things. Is it true they're starting to put Vaseline on the edges?
Of what?
Of the bats.
Sorry, never heard that one, Tony. No, but I'm not sure what Pryor's done here, but if he has edged it, there's something not showing the heat.
Could be a handle click. It could be a brush on the back pad of the bat. Pryor can't believe, doesn't know what they're going on about, but Australia very confident, other than Brad Haddin. Anyway, again, not big enough for the umpire to hear if technology can't even pick it up.
I'm not sure what I was hearing, but with listeners this big, I tend to hear most things.
You might have been hearing a game at the SCG or something. Bloody one satellite dish you got on there. Righto, so Rifle confirms it's not out as he thought. Or inside edge this time. There's a fielder down there. There isn't. So Pryor goes to 26, not out. Hastings hates it.
Yeah, good delivery, that one. Just nip back a little bit. So the required run rate still 6 1/4 runs and over. Run a ball, thereabout.
Oh, there's top edge. Yardy could be caught. No, it's not going to carry.
Right for 5, down for 111. Croatia to continue. Oh, there's the reverse sweep and straight in the mouth. Well, it would have been had it not been for that protection, I think. Certainly a very clonky noise. Let's have another look at it. There it is, the reverse sweep. Bounces a bit and off the arm, bang, straight into the chin.
Short again. There is the 50 partnership, so well played. Pryor and Yardy done nice business. 5 for 114. In the air, and that's taken. David Hussey has got a wonderful pair of hands and great fielding anticipation, and that's an excellent example of both.
I tell you what, it was good bowling as well. There was a bit of drift in that one. It had him stretching. I like the way that Croatia spins the ball as well as gets a little overspin on it. Just watch this drop. And he just opened the face a little bit. Wasn't quite to the pitch of it, was he? Good catch, you're right about that. But that will certainly keep the selectors thinking. Good bowling from Croatia. And the end of Pryor out for 39. So 6 down now for 119. Oh, this could be close.
Oh. Good boy, good pressure, Painey.
Well, he's missed it. He was in there so keen, was Payne, that he was diving before he had the ball in his hand.
Yeah, it's tough going, isn't it? You've got the keeper who's normally with the gloves on, and he's out there expected to do what the other guys do at practice every other day.
This seems to be the problem with Jason Crozier. He's dragging way too many halfway down. That's a very comfortable ball for an international cricketer to hit for 4.
Yeah, that's a half tracker. So that's easy pickings for the new batsman. He's got to try and get the consistency going here, Jason Crozier. He's got an opportunity to impress. The delivery they got prior would have done that.
Again, halfway down and again hit into the same spot. 4 more.
Well, he bowls a brilliant ball and then he goes and drags 2 down. He's obviously having a little bit of trouble gripping this ball for some reason. And now the captain's going to have to change the field around because you just can't afford to concede these boundaries on the leg side.
That's 4 wides. Sean Tate has had control issues throughout this game, and there's another example of it. 5. Thanks for that as we see this wicket fall. And again, as Tony Gregg keeps saying, when he gets the ball up there, he looks so much more dangerous, Jason Crozier. Very good catch from Big Dougie. 7th wicket down for England. Luke Wright's on his way. He's made 24 from 19 balls. 7 for 152. That's very, very close. Really close. And Paul Rifle keeps the hand down.
Perhaps it was slipping down the leg side. They're thinking about it. I mean, there's no doubt that Mitchell Johnson thinks it's out. Mind you, you never want to take too much notice of the bowler. There have been plenty of bowlers that, no matter where it is, thinks it out. A few wicketkeepers are similar. Let's have a look. See how close it was.
Not real close, I reckon. Can't believe they haven't sent that up just for another look. Cameron White didn't budge.
Those tradesmen.
Oh, that's hit something. Paul Rifle says it's your back. Michael Yardy says, no, I don't reckon it was. But if it's hit his pad, he's got to be LB, surely. It's close all round.
It depends what he's been given out for. If it's LBW, they can have a look at it. Oh, they can have a look at it anyway, of course. But if it's LBW, the question will be whether it pitched in line with leg stump or outside leg stump. If it's outside leg stump, it's not out.
I've generally got everything wrong when I've tried to predict these, but I'm going to say not out in any way. He hasn't hit it. Scraped his back leg, although I think it's back leg, and I'll say too high.
Top of the pad. It's a beautiful delivery by Mitchell Johnson. It's at the top of the pad. How small are his pads? How tall is Liam Plunkett? He looks pretty big. Yeah, the pad is high. The pad is above the height of the stumps. He's going to get away with this. So the Australians thought they had him caught behind. They're going to be told no, he wasn't caught behind. He wasn't LB either. Definitely take way too long. This is why the over rate is abominable. 32 overs. And ours, England, were like 20 minutes over in their bowling. And Australia are the same. They're heading the same way. Get back. Australia is still in a huddle. So now they have to unhuddle. Mitchell Johnson's got to get back to the end of his mark. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Up, no. 6.
Big Plunkett. We knew it was in him. Gilly called for it about 3 overs ago. And now he's seen enough of Crozier and he's gone bang.
Happy to take it into the breeze too, Bray. Not sure he's hit that perfectly either. We'll get a bit more.
Smacks that one, and the fieldsman just in front of point, I don't think could see it. The sun is setting here in the west, and the player lost the ball momentarily, and by the time he picked it up, it was past him. I guess if you're not going to see it, there's no use being there. There's a little flutter there, I'm sure, for Tim Payne. Oh, England need 86. 86 off 63, and that would have been out. Would have been a run out at the non-strikers. Plunkett was wandering down, assuming because Yardy got a fair piece of it, there was probably going to be a run there, at least one. But Cameron White was good. He picked it up. Could have hit, but then it smashed into Tim Payne's fingers backing up. That is just missed the stumps. Plunkett had given up, and then Payne had to deal with it. And I think he's hurt. That hand of his, the finger, has been an awful break. It's taken him a long time to get back keeping again, just practicing his keeping. And it's well bandaged. That'll be 4. Nicely played. Backed away. Gave himself the room. And Bollinger pitched it too short. He cops the punishment.
Yeah, very good shot. Used the pace of the ball. This is a nice bouncy pitch, as it always is over here. And you can see just a question of helping it on its way and staying away from the third man fieldsman. He did all that very well.
Yeah, they've got to be careful here, Australia. England, they've got a little bit of a sniff. They're not out of it. 82 from 62. Eggs and gone. Sean Tate gets another. The pace will do it. And it's good for the Aussie selectors to see Tate come back and get the tail.
Yeah, that's where he's got to bowl. He's got to bowl it straight there and thereabouts. None of these guys down the order enjoy it. In fact, no one enjoys real pace bowling. And that was a huge edge. Right, so 8 down now for 200. And Tate has got himself his second wicket, 2 for 46. His figures. And Liam Plunkett gone for 20.
And that's the place to bowl. Terrific stuff from Sean Tate. very full. Finn was backing away almost to the point where he was never going to lay bat and ball, and now England are 9 down.
Yeah, exactly the right way to bowl to a lower batsman who's a little bit jittery. That was fast and right at leg stump, and look where he ended up. Way out of line. So another one down. England 9 for 200. And Finn, unfortunately, is accompanied off the ground by Daniels.
He's hammered that straight back at Dougie. Basically had to dive out of the way. Hit like a rocket.
He got a rocket return to him as well. The new part for the hair. Oh!
That'll be 4, it'll be wide, it'll be 4 of them. It might have just clipped something on the way through actually, so it's 4 off the bat, and that'll be 50 to Michael Yardy.
He's a workman-like cricketer, isn't he? There he is, 52 off 68 deliveries, 3 4s in his knock.
And hammered, that'll be 6 all the way. It was the angle from Bollinger. He swiveled with it beautifully, Yardy. That's all she wrote.
Oh, wonderful shot. That's the long boundary down there, and he certainly got onto this. He doesn't mind it short. You're dead right, Ian Healy. Better off up and straight. Australia have got to learn that in these latter overs in one-day international cricket, it's got to be right up there and straight.
Pierces the gap. So Anderson gets himself off the mark nicely.
And that's the type of ball I'd be concerned about. What was he trying to do? What was John Hastings' belief with this ball? I think he was just hoping that Jimmy Anderson would swing across the line and make a mistake, because that's short. It's able to be cut even though it's outside leg. Not good.
And this should be it. Haddon chases it. He limps into it and takes it. The first few steps looked easy, and then he remembered he's got a dodgy knee, calf, leg of some sort. But they're checking for a no ball, so the game might be continuing. Just hang around for a second.
Okay, I will, Mike. And I reckon it was a better ball by Hastings. This was the better one. Because it's in debate, the batsman felt it was above head high. The umpires have now decided it wasn't, and it was well within the limits of a legal delivery. So better bowling from John Hastings. If you're going to be short, get it up that high. Good bowling. Cramping. A free swinging pull shot, cut shot, whatever Anderson was trying, it was difficult.
And that's it. It's been comprehensive. A 6-1 to Australia in the Commonwealth Bank Series. Adam Voges is the man of the match for his 80 not out, and a bonus game for him. He's given himself a chance of getting himself on that emergency list for the World Cup if these injuries don't mend. If there's another one, you just never know. He's played beautifully at his home ground. England only managing 222, and they will be disappointed that they were unable to win more than one game. But Australia have got that winning feeling back.